where we cut through the noise and get right to the heart of what you need to know.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Today, we're exploring a topic many of us think about, but maybe don't fully grasp buying refurbished tech.
It's a big market.
And our focus for this session is specifically on the Apple iPhone 13 as sold through Amazon Renewed.
It's true. The renewed market offers, incredible accessibility and value. It lets more people get tech they might not otherwise afford.
Yeah, sense a butt coming.
Well, yeah. As with any sort of nuanced market, it comes with its own set of challenges, things to look out for, considerations.
Okay.
We've actually pulled insights directly from an Amazon product listing for this specific iPhone 13. And it's surprisingly rich, lots of product details, but also really crucially, real-world customer experiences.
And our mission today is pretty clear. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from all that material. Mm-hmm. We're here to give you a shortcut, basically. Help you become truly well-informed about what to expect if you're considering a renewed iPhone 13.
Yeah, including some surprising facts and hopefully some practical takeaways you can use right away.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Before we even get to the iPhone 13 itself, what exactly does Amazon Renewed mean? How is it really different from just buying, a used phone off some random website?
That's a really fundamental question. So Amazon Renewed is specifically for products that have been inspected, tested, and then refurbished if necessary to be fully functional.
Okay, inspected and tested. By who?
Right. The key distinction here is that this process is carried out by Amazon qualified suppliers. And it's important to note, right up front, these products are not Apple certified.
Not Apple certified. So it's not Apple doing the refurbishing, but Amazon's approved partners.
Does the fact it's not Apple certified refurbishment have any kind of long-term implications, like for software updates or maybe even resale value later?
It absolutely can, yeah.
Yeah.
While Amazon suppliers aim for full functionality, not being Apple certified means any parts they replace won't be original Apple components. We'll actually dig into that a bit more later.
Ah, okay.
And that can affect how future buyers see it, maybe?
Yeah.
And potentially even how Apple itself would service the device down the line.
Makes sense.
Beyond that, Amazon positions Renewed as, an affordable option. Save money on brands you love. Clear financial benefit there.
Sure.
And they also push the sustainability angle. Buying Renewed extends a product's life, helps cut down on electronic waste. That's a significant environmental plus these days.
Definitely. And for buyer confidence.
Right. For consumer confidence, Amazon also points out that these purchases are eligible for their standard return policy and also the A to Z guarantee, which, broadly covers the item's condition, delivery, overall satisfaction.
That's reassuring. Good to know there's some kind of safety net. And what about what you actually get in the box? Are you getting original Apple accessories, or is it more of a grab bag situation?
Not necessarily original, no, but equivalent. Amazon states that all Renewed purchases will come with accessories equivalent to those that shipped new.
Equivalent meaning they might not be the original brand accessories, but they will be compatible and fully functional. So a working charger, a working cable, just maybe not Apple branded.
Gotcha. And packaging.
You should expect the product either in its original box, if they have it, or in a new clean cardboard box.
Okay. And cosmetically, I assume they don't all look brand new.
Exactly. Products are restored to original factory settings first. Then they're categorized into one of 4 cosmetic conditions: premium, excellent, good, or acceptable.
So that gives you at least a rough idea of what to expect appearance-wise?
Precisely. It sets an expectation level for scratches, scuffs, that sort of thing.
Okay, with that clear picture of Amazon Renewed, let's zoom in on our specific case study. The iPhone 13. It's obviously a popular choice on Renewed. It's listed as a bestseller, and we saw 5K plus bought in past month. People are buying these.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very popular model.
So what are the core technical specs and the options available for this renewed iPhone 13, according to that Amazon listing we looked at?
Okay, specs. The iPhone 13, as described there, features a 6.1-inch display. It's a Super Retina XDR OLED screen. Resolution is 2532 by 1170 pixels, which gives you about 460 ppi pixels per inch.
So pretty sharp then.
Oh yeah, incredibly sharp, vibrant colors. Photos, videos look really good, almost like print quality on the screen. It runs at a 60 hertz refresh rate, which is standard, perfectly smooth for most things, and it supports Dolby Vision HDR.
HDR, meaning better contrast, brighter colors for movies and stuff.
Exactly. Really pops for supported content.
And cameras. That's always a huge deal with iPhones. What's the setup on this renewed 13?
It has that dual camera system on the back. You get a 12 megapixel f1.6 wide angle lens and another 12 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide camera.
Those F numbers, 1.6 and 2.4, that means wider apertures, right? Better low light.
Precisely. Wider apertures let in more light. So yeah, better low light performance, which is a big plus even on a renewed phone. Clearer shots when it's dim.
Okay. What else on the cameras?
They have true tone flash for more natural colors and lens correction. Importantly, the listing mentions both rear cameras feature larger sensors with improved light sensitivity, and they support Dolby Vision HDR video recording.
Video recording, okay.
Yeah.
Any limitations? Zoom.
Good question. Crucial point here. It mentions only digital zoom and no optical zoom. So you can pinch to zoom, but it's cropping the image, not using a separate lens.
Right. Degrades quality faster. And the front camera.
That's a 12 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide lens. Good for selfies, group shots.
Okay. And beyond stills, video is super important now. How does it stack up there?
For video, it supports 4K recording at up to 60 frames per second. Really crisp, high-def footage. And it can do 1080p video at up to 240 frames per second for those super smooth, slow-motion shots.
Nice. Performance-wise, what's under the hood? Processor. RAM.
Performance. Okay, it runs on iOS 16 according to the listing. Now here's a potentially major point of concern we found.
Milk that.
The listing explicitly mentions a CPU model A10 and a CPU speed of 2.02 gigahertz.
A10. Wait, isn't the iPhone 13 supposed to have the A15 Bionic chip? That sounds like iPhone 7 old.
Exactly. A new iPhone 13 comes with the much, much more powerful A15 Bionic. Yep. This A10 mention is a huge red flag. It's a massive potential discrepancy.
Wow. So buyers absolutely need to double check that. An A10 would be drastically different performance.
Vastly different. Performance, battery efficiency, longevity, everything. It could just be a typo in the listing, but it's something you absolutely have to verify. Could be grounds for return if it's wrong.
Good heads up. What about RAM?
That was also a bit confusing. The listing seemed to mention both 4 gigabit and 8 gigabit in different sections.
More inconsistency.
Yeah, it really underscores the need to confirm these critical specs before you buy or be ready to check immediately upon arrival. More RAM generally means better multitasking.
Right, and storage options.
The main one we saw was 128 gigabit, which is decent for most people, but 256 gigabit and 512 gigabit options are also listed as available sometimes.
Okay. And for practicalities, service provider.
Nice.
Colors.
The main listing we focused on was for an unlocked service provider option. That gives you great flexibility to use it with pretty much any carrier.
That's good.
And colors, quite a variety, usually available on Renewed. Midnight, Starlight, the product red, blue, pink, and green.
Okay, so that's the official story. The specs on paper, potential red flags included. But, beyond the descriptions, where does the rubber really meet the road?
The customer reviews.
Exactly. Over 17,000 ratings, a 4.0 star average, which isn't perfect.
Yeah.
What are customers really saying about their renewed iPhone 13s? What's the actual day-to-day user experience like?
This is absolutely where the nuances become crystal clear. Overall, look, many customers express pretty high satisfaction.
All right.
Lots of comments finding the phone well worth the price.
Okay, so value is a big theme.
Definitely. Reviews often describe the device as excellent, looks almost brand new, and performing like new. We saw comments like Ulta Jill Saint specifically saying worth every penny, and T-Gen noting their phone looks almost brand new. So positives are definitely there.
But that 4.0 average suggests it's not all rosy. What about the appearance? The cosmetic condition? You said there are categories, but how does that translate in reality?
Right. It translates into, a mixed bag, frankly. On the positive side, you have customers like Vernon, Terry J., someone from Canada reporting near perfect condition, no visible scratches at all, 0 noticeable blemishes, really happy with the look.
Sounds ideal. A premium or excellent outcomes, maybe.
Probably. But then you have the other side of the coin. Other experiences included phones with few scratches on the sides, dents all over the back.
Ouch.
Visible scratches all around the camera, and even one mentioning it being chipped away around the camera.
Okay, so it really highlights that variability. Mm-hmm. You might get lucky, or you might get something that clearly looks used. You need to be prepared for that range.
Exactly. Your expectation needs to match the condition category you choose, but even then, there seems to be some wiggle room in interpretation.
And battery life. That's always the elephant in the room with used or renewed phones. Is there a minimum acceptable battery health people should aim for? What's the verdict from users?
That's definitely the big mixed bag. Some customers, reported positive experiences, like Ulta Julcine again, saying the battery lasted me all day with regular use.
That's pretty good.
And Terry J., who replaced an old SE, was surprised to wake up with 70% battery life the next morning after forgetting to charge it overnight.
Wow, okay, but
A very common theme in the reviews is people explicitly mentioning the battery health percentage shown in the phone settings.
the maximum capacity number.
Precisely. And those numbers ranged quite a bit. We saw mentions of 89, 87% health, 85%, 84%, all the way down to a low of 78%.
78%. That's getting pretty low for a phone like the 13.
Yeah.
Apple often recommends service below 80%.
Exactly. So the key here is managing expectations. If you're buying renewed, aiming for something above, say, 85% battery health is probably wise. And you should always mentally factor in the potential cost of a future battery replacement if you end up with a lower percentage.
So how did reviewers react to those numbers?
It varied. Some considered 85% somewhat expected for a renewed phone, kind of acceptable. But lower percentages, like that 78%, were sometimes described pretty bluntly as hideous for the price.
Understandable. Okay, and wasn't there something else? A particularly crucial detail in the feedback about unknown parts. That sounds potentially worrying.
It is, and it raises really important questions about transparency in the whole process.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so Juan Peralta's review from May 2025 was striking. He described getting a phone that looked perfect, aesthetically impeccable, he said, and the battery settings showed 100% battery health.
Sounds great, like a brand new battery.
That's what you'd think. But upon checking the system details further, in the parts and service history section within settings,
Which most people might not check.
right, he discovered that both the battery and the screen were listed as unknown parts, meaning they had been replaced with non-Apple certified components.
Wow. And this wasn't disclosed anywhere on the product page.
Apparently not. He specifically mentioned it wasn't disclosed. And this situation was echoed by another reviewer, Arturo Davila from Mexico. He also noted a changed battery and some minor aesthetic issues on a phone that also showed 100% battery health.
So 100% health might actually mean a non-genuine replacement battery, not a new Apple one.
Exactly. And that has implications for the perception of quality, sure, but also potentially for long-term durability. How will that non-genuine battery or screen hold up? And what about future warranty or repair options? Apple might refuse to service a phone with non-genuine critical parts.
That feels like perhaps the most critical takeaway for anyone buying renewed tech.
Yeah.
That spec sheet, even the phone's own settings display, might not tell the whole story about the parts inside.
Absolutely. Even if a device looks perfect and reports 100% battery health, non-original parts could be lurking. The advice has to be, always verify the device integrity yourself after purchase. Check that parts and service history in settings to general about. It directly impacts long-term value and repairability.
Huge piece of advice there. Okay, quickly, what about the charger? Included. Reliable.
Again, mixed experiences reported there too. Some customers said they received a charging cord and an adapter box, which was a nice surprise for them.
Bonus.
Yeah. Others, however, stated they did not receive a charger at all, or they experienced issues with defective charging ports right out of the box.
So bottom line, be prepared that you might need to supply your own charger or deal with a return if the port's bad.
Pretty much. Don't count on getting one and test the port immediately.
Okay, so we've heard the good, the bad, the potentially misleading. What does all this mean for you, the listener, the person trying to make an informed decision here? With these mixed experiences, these crucial insights, what options are actually available to protect your investment if you do decide to buy a renewed iPhone 13?
Thankfully, there are some safety nets built in. The baseline protection is Amazon's own 90-day return policy.
90 days. Okay.
Right. This means you can return the item, generally in its original condition, for a full refund or a replacement within 90 days of receiving it. And they usually offer free return options.
But there's a catch sometimes with returns.
Well, the standard disclaimer applies. You might receive only a partial refund or even no refund if the item you return is used beyond testing, damaged, or materially different from how you received it. So, keep everything pristine while you're testing it out in that initial period.
Good point. And what about protection beyond that first 90 days for, true peace of mind against accidents or later failures?
Yeah, for longer term coverage, there's an option often offered alongside these purchases, Assurion's 2-year mobile phone accident protection plan.
Asurion. Okay, how does that work? Cost.
It's typically a one-time purchase. The price we saw was around $73.99, and it covers accidental damage right from day one. Drops, spills, broken parts.
From day one, that's good.
Yeah. And it also covers malfunctions after any implied manufacturer's warranty or the 90-day return window expires. Their claims process seems pretty streamlined, 24/7 support. Most claims apparently approved quickly.
What do they offer if you make a claim? Repair, replacement.
They offer repair, replacement, or sometimes an Amazon gift card for the original purchase price. There are service fees involved, though. That's important. It was $29 for a repair or $49 to replace the phone, according to the details.
Okay, so not free, but capped. Any catches with eligibility?
Just that you usually have to buy the plan with the product or very shortly after, typically within 30 days. And critically, it doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. So if the phone arrives broken, that's an Amazon return issue, not an Assurian claim.
Got it. Are there any other protection plan options? Maybe something broader?
Yes, actually. Assurian also offers something called their Complete Protect plan. This one works differently. It's a monthly subscription, around $16.99 a month, and it renews until you cancel it.
A subscription, what's the benefit there?
The unique thing is its scope. It covers all your eligible products purchased from Amazon. That includes items you might have bought within the last year, plus any new eligible purchases you make going forward, all under one plan.
Wow. Okay, so not just the one phone, but potentially laptops, tablets, other gadgets too.
Exactly. It provides pretty extensive coverage. Malfunctions, failures, drops, spills for eligible portable items. There's a total claim limit, typically up to $5,000 per 12-month period, but they state no hidden fees. Could be cost effective if you buy a lot of tech from Amazon.
That's definitely another option to consider. Yeah. Okay, so we've taken a really comprehensive look, I think, into the world of renewed iPhones, using this iPhone 13 on Amazon renewed as our deep dive subject.
We sure have.
We've seen the potential value, definitely, the convenience, the detailed specs that attract so many buyers, but crucially, also the nuances, the variability in actual customer experiences. Everything from differing battery health percentages to those really concerning unexpected part replacements, and even that questionable CPU listing.
Yeah, this exploration truly paints a complex picture, doesn't it? It really prompts us to consider, how do you weigh that undeniable affordability and the environmental benefit of buying renewed? How do you weigh that against the possibility of getting a product with undisclosed, non-original parts? Or one with significant cosmetic flaws? Or a battery that's already halfway through its useful life?
It's a trade-off calculation everyone has to make for themselves.
Absolutely. And what this deep dive also really underscores, I think, is the critical importance of, 1, reading the fine print, 2, verifying specifications yourself immediately after purchase, especially that part's history, and 3, really digging into those customer reviews when you're making any significant online purchase, particularly for tech.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah, exactly. This information, we hope, empowers you, the listener, to make a truly informed decision, to decide if those cost savings and that positive impact on e-waste are genuinely worth navigating the potential variables, the potential pitfalls that can come with a product marketed as like new.